Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today, we're diving into a topic that I think many of us find a little bit intimidating: negotiation. But we're not just talking about the art of the deal in a traditional sense. We're looking at it through the lens of a growth mindset.
Oliver, I love this topic because honestly, for so long I viewed negotiation as this high-stakes win-lose battle. It felt adversarial, you know? And that perspective alone often made me want to avoid it entirely.
Exactly. And I think that's where the traditional, almost fixed mindset approach to negotiation really trips people up. If you go into it thinking there's a fixed pie, and either you get your slice or the other person does, it sets you up for anxiety and often disappointment.
Totally. That fixed pie mentality implies that your skills are also fixed, or the outcome is predetermined, like I'm not a good negotiator, or this person is just too tough. It leaves no room for improvement or creative solutions.
Precisely. So let's unpack this. For those who might be new to the concept, a growth mindset, as Carol Dweck famously described it, is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's not about being born a great negotiator, it's about becoming one.
And applying that to negotiation is just transformative. Instead of fearing failure or rejection, you see every interaction, every no, every challenging moment as an opportunity to learn, adjust, and grow. It's like, okay, that approach didn't work. What can I try next?
I mean, how many times have we heard people say, "Oh, I'm just not good at negotiating my salary," or "I could never haggle over a car price"? That's a classic fixed mindset statement right there. It implies an inherent limitation.
Yeah, and it often becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you believe you can't, you probably won't even try, or you'll go in with such low confidence that you're less likely to succeed. A growth mindset pushes you to engage, even when it's uncomfortable.
So let's talk about some tangible ways a growth mindset changes your actual approach to a negotiation. I think one of the biggest shifts is moving from just stating your demands to really understanding the other person's perspective.
Absolutely. Empathy becomes a superpower. If you have a fixed mindset, you're so focused on your own outcome that you forget there's another human being on the other side with their own needs, pressures, and goals. A growth mindset encourages you to inquire, to listen deeply.
Which ironically often leads to better outcomes for both parties. When you understand what drives them, you can find creative solutions that might not have been obvious if you were just locked into your initial position. It's about expanding the pie, not just dividing it.
Right, it's about collaborative problem solving, not just a tug of war. For example, if you're negotiating a project deadline, instead of just saying, I need more time, a growth mindset approach would be to ask, what are your biggest concerns about the original deadline? Is it about client expectation, budget, or something else?
That's a fantastic example, Alice. It opens up the conversation. You're not just presenting a problem, you're seeking to understand the underlying drivers. And when you understand those, you can propose alternative solutions that meet both your needs.
Another huge aspect is resilience. In negotiation, you're going to hear no sometimes, or you're going to encounter resistance. A fixed mindset person might take that personally, internalize it as a failure, and retreat. A growth mindset person sees it as feedback.
Oh, that's so true. It's not "I failed," it's "this approach didn't work. What did I miss? How can I refine my pitch? What's another angle I can take?" It's data collection, not a personal judgment. It turns a setback into a learning moment for the next round or the next negotiation altogether.
Think about it like this. Every negotiation, successful or not, adds to your negotiation muscle. You learn what works, what doesn't, how different people react, what kind of preparation yields the best results. It's all just experience building.
So how do we actually cultivate this growth mindset in our negotiation approach? I'd say preparation is key, but not rigid preparation. It's more about flexible preparation, isn't it?
Exactly. You prepare your ideal outcome, sure, but you also prepare your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, and you brainstorm multiple pathways to a solution. You don't go in with just plan A. You have plan B, C, and maybe even D ready to go, or at least the mindset to pivot.
That's brilliant. It's about being adaptable. If the conversation takes an unexpected turn, a fixed mindset person might get flustered and shut down. A growth mindset person sees it as an opportunity to explore new possibilities. Okay, that wasn't what I expected, but where can we go from here?
And it also means being open to feedback, even during the negotiation itself. If the other party pushes back, instead of getting defensive, you can ask clarifying questions like, could you tell me more about your concerns there? Or what would make this work better for you?
That's a game changer. It shifts the dynamic from confrontation to collaboration. You're inviting them into a shared space to solve a problem, rather than battling over positions. And that just feels so much better, mentally, doesn't it?
It really does. It reduces the stress too because you're not carrying the entire burden of winning. You're focused on understanding and finding a path forward, which is a much more sustainable and positive approach.
Let's think about practical tips. What are some small steps our listeners can take to start applying a growth mindset to their negotiations, even if they're starting from a place of dread?
Okay, so first, I'd say reframe what negotiation means to you. Instead of demanding what I want, think finding a mutually beneficial solution. Just that mental shift can be huge. And practice. Start small. Negotiate with your kids over screen time or with your partner about where to eat dinner.
I love that. Low-stakes practice. It builds that muscle without the pressure. And honestly, those small, everyday negotiations are often where we can hone our active listening and empathy skills without even realizing it.
Exactly. And also, reflect afterward. After any negotiation, big or small, take a few minutes to ask yourself, what went well? What could I have done differently? What did I learn about the other person's motivations? What did I learn about my own reactions?
That self-reflection is critical for a growth mindset. It's how you turn an experience into genuine learning. Without it, you just repeat the same patterns. With it, you're actively seeking to improve.
And don't forget to manage your emotions. Negotiation can be emotional, especially if you feel passionate about the outcome. A growth mindset helps you recognize those emotions without letting them hijack the process. Take a breath, step away if you need to, and come back with a calmer, more analytical mind.
That's a big one. I remember a time early in my career I was so invested in getting a particular project, and when the client hesitated, I became defensive, almost pleading. It completely undermined my position. Looking back, a growth mindset would have had me asking more questions, understanding their reservations rather than just reacting emotionally.
We all have those moments, Oliver, and that's okay. The beauty of the growth mindset is that it's not about being perfect from day one. It's about acknowledging the slip-ups and using them as fuel for future improvement.
So how about approaching no? Because that's often the biggest fear, isn't it? The rejection.
Oh, no is just data. Seriously. In a growth mindset, no isn't a dead end. It's an invitation to ask why. Why is that a no? Is it the price, the timing, a feature? The more information you get, the more likely you are to find an alternative yes, or at least understand what would be needed to get there.
That reframing is powerful. Instead of seeing it as a personal attack or a closed door, it's just a signpost saying, this path isn't ideal, let's explore another. And that's so much less draining and so much more productive.
And it opens up dialogue. No is rarely a blanket no to everything. It's usually no to a specific proposal at a specific time under specific conditions. Your job with a growth mindset is to uncover those specifics.
This applies across the board, too. It's not just business deals or salary negotiations. Think about relationships, advocating for yourself with a service provider, even planning a vacation with friends. All of these require a degree of negotiation.
Absolutely, it's a life skill, and the more you practice seeing these everyday interactions as opportunities to hone your growth mindset negotiation skills, the better equipped you'll be for those bigger, higher stakes moments.
So to sum it up, embracing a growth mindset in negotiation means seeing challenges as opportunities, understanding the why behind the what, prioritizing learning over winning at all costs, and always believing in your capacity to improve.
And remembering that every conversation is a chance to grow for both you and the person you're negotiating with. It truly transforms what can be a stressful experience into an empowering one. So go out there, reframe your mindset, and start negotiating with confidence and curiosity.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope this episode helps you approach your next negotiation with a little more confidence and a lot more growth. We'll catch you next time.